Fighty Radio.
Hello and welcome to this brand new edition of 5-Round MMA. My name is Alex Ramirez. Alongside me is my co-host Albert Cita, and joining us via telephone from the East Coast is Guillermo Cita. I want to thank everybody for listening. Got a lot to talk about. UFC Fight Night in Hidalgo, Texas. Cain Velasquez calling out Fabricio Werdum. Chael Sonnen signing a Bellator. UFC 205 matches are starting to take shape. And look at Cyborg's main event debut for the UFC. So before we get started, round number one, how's everybody doing? Guillermo, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. A little humidity out here in Florida, but can't complain.
Can't complain. How's the fantasy team doing?
We started off, well, I went like 50 and 50 last week. I'm sure I'll go 10 for 10 this week.
Albert?
In the 4 Yahoo fantasy leagues that I'm in. Four.
Wow.
I'm first place in 3.
5.
First place in 3 of them.
Wow, there you go.
And before I used to be like, oh, I'm a lucky player or whatever, but you can't deny that I am a fantasy god.
I bet you when you go to Vegas, do you play like a bunch of slot machines at once, or what?
I should though.
That's how you do it. If I play all these fantasy leagues, one of them I'm bound to be good.
I gotta
right?
win somewhere.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump to mixed martial arts here. Round number one, UFC Fight Night in Hidalgo, Texas took place this past Saturday. Main event between Dustin Poirier and Michael Johnson. Also, co-main event was the middleweight bout between Uriah Hall and Derek Brunson. I want to focus on the co-main event and the main event because this is the two bouts actually meant something. Co-main event saw Derek Brunson knock out Uriah Hall in the first round. About a minute or so. I personally think it was an early stoppage, but I picked Derek Brunson to win. I'm a Derek Brunson fan. I had kind of a little issue with he's on a roll. Was calling for a title shot after the knockout of Uriah Hall. I don't think he's there yet. You guys agree with me on that one?
I agree. I think, first of all, Uriah Hall is such a disappointment, such inconsistency. You go from beating Gegard Mousasi, who's on the brink of a title shot, to losing to maybe, I wouldn't even consider Derek Brunson maybe an elite 5, but top 10 guy, which, he's legitimate in that weight class, but such inconsistency. But for Derek Brunson, I think it's a little bit too soon. I mean, I think Uriah Hall's the biggest name under his belt that I remember. But, I think he needs a little bit more, 1 or 2 fights before he can call out a title shot.
What about you?
Yeah, it was cool to see Derek Brunson's little run that he's been having right now. I do also think it was kind of early stoppage. I think they should let a couple punches go in, at least 2. I was counting, but it's tough because the middleweight division, I think it's clogged up on the top because we're waiting for Dan Henderson, right? But you still got Luke Rockhold, the Chris Wymans, Jacare, Yoel Romero. We don't know what's the diagnosis on him without being on something.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of clogged on top. So I think it's cool that he called for a big fight, but I think all he's going to get is a Gegard Mousasi.
I think that's next, but not a title, but a big fight is next. I mean, his last loss was to Yoel Romero, and he did say after all the last guy lost to was popped for PEDs. But after that, he defeated Lorenz Larkin, who is now welterweight, and doing pretty well in the welterweight division. Then he knocks out Ed Herman, Sam Alvey, and then recently Uriah Hall. So I think he's on the verge, but you do need maybe like a Tim Kennedy or like I know Tim Kennedy and Rashad Evans are booked. Jacare and Vitor Belfort's out there. Yeah, I know Jacare and Luke Rockhold are booked now. So are Weidman and Romero are all booked now. So all like I said, Albert, the top ones are
kind of clogged up
now. So it just kind of depends. I think Vitor Belfort is the one if he wants to really prove that he is ready for a title shot. As for like you said, Uriah Hall, just inconsistencies back and forth. This guy had so much potential, but now it's kind of like, where does he go from here? I mean, he is a true middleweight, I think, but he just can't.
He's not too old. He's 32.
Yeah,
but it just sucks that he has huge wins. He has amazing wins, and then he goes and gets a loss. Like I think the most he's ever done is a 3-fight win streak.
Yeah,
and then he goes back to the bottom because
it kind of sucks to figure out how when he wins, but when he loses, he's losing.
Yeah.
It's bad, right, Guillermo?
Well, the thing is, with this win against Gegard Mousasi, I kind of want to see him at light heavyweight. Maybe give that a try. I mean,
I don't know.
Remember,
Derek Brunson looks bigger than him.
Heavyweight before.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just saying test it out. I'm not saying that he's going to be legitimate in that weight class.
Something different.
He does look really well in middleweight, but just test it out. It doesn't hurt. just one fight or two. I mean, with the maybe a gatekeeper or lower top 10 guy in the light heavyweight division. Remember, the light heavyweight division doesn't have a lot of names. So I mean, like if he's able to get a couple wins under his belt, he might be even a contender at the light heavyweight.
Yeah, that's true. So let's up to the main event. Dustin Poirier suffered his first loss since returning to the lightweight division after being knocked out by Michael Johnson. It was his first. He was on a 4-fight win streak, and this one kind of halted the brakes on his climb to the top. Michael Johnson coming back almost like a year layoff. Returned, hands in the lightweight division.
I can't tell you how disappointed I am in the results of this fight. Just because I really thought Dustin Poirier was going to make a big run, and I honestly saw him being a title contender, and now it's like, he has to go right back to the bottom. But he was having one of the most impressive runs in the lightweight division. He just knocked out my boy Bobby Green previous to this, so I thought he was going to be a title contender, but he's usually known as a smarter fighter, and I really do thought he was going to wear down Michael Johnson and maybe take him into the late rounds because, everybody knows how quick Michael Johnson really is. But, I mean, it happens.
Yeah, Guillermo, thoughts real quick on the Dustin Poirier-Michael Johnson fight.
I totally disagree again. Same thing that like last week where I told you guys about Jimmy Rivera. He's no joke. Michael Johnson's no joke. If you really think about it, Michael Johnson might have beat Nate Diaz his last fight. It came down to decision, but he got away a little bit from his game plan. But Michael Johnson looked well against Nate Diaz. So Michael Johnson is no joke. For Dustin Poirier, it's really not back to the bottom. I think he's beat all the guys in the bottom. Now it's it's all fighting styles and his game plan type of thing. It's not like before where he can just go in there and knock him out and then on to the next one. So I think now the game plan is trying to stay with it instead of to get those victories. So that's what I think. He's still a top 5 guy to me. Dustin Poirier.
Well, to tell the truth, the only thing that just to finish with this, it is a pretty interesting weight class right now. Just because you still have Gilbert Melendez that just came back,
the lightweight,
and then you still have El Cucuy. There's a lot of fighters still trying to grasp a big part of this portion.
I think even though for your Hall and Poirier, there were devastating losses, but I don't think it's the end to them. I think they could bounce back both from these losses. So that's it for round number 1. Stick around. Do not go anywhere. We'll talk about round number 2 and Cain Velasquez calling out Fabricio Werdum, so it should be fun. Welcome back. Time for round number 2. So everyone's favorite fighter here because of our ethnic origin, Cain Velasquez, who's coming off a pretty devastating win over Travis Browning, called out Fabricio Werdum, who was also coming off a pretty impressive win over Travis Browning. We all thought after Stipe...
Is it impressive?
No, I don't know. But we all thought after Stipe Miocic defeated Alex Overeem that his more likely face Cain Velasquez because, Cain never really went anywhere. He was kind of coming off the big-time win. But Cain Velasquez went on media outlets and said, you know what? I actually want Fabricio Werdum first. That's a personal fight for me. This is a guy that I want to beat over a title shot. And I think paired that with Stipe Miocic saying he wants to take some time off after he defeated Overeem, UFC agreed and have actually set up Werdum versus Velasquez 2. I think UFC 207 in Las Vegas. Guillermo Cita, you're the heavyweight expert in this on this show. What are your thoughts on this matchup? And is Cain Velasquez doing the right thing here?
Thank God, yes, Cain Velasquez is doing the right thing. I don't know what it is about Werdum, but he's rubbed me the wrong way now. You look at his fight against Travis Browning, he was trying to attack the training partner of Travis Browning. Like, come on, seriously, he's the one talking smack to begin with after the fight, and this guy's probably just trying to defend his partner who's probably, already sad as it is in Travis Browning. And then Werdum has, the attack, he goes after him like... he's a bully, man. All the success has made Werdum into the biggest bully in the heavyweight division. And I told you, I see Cain Velasquez. He's just trying to get rid of the bully. And I know Cain Velasquez is still the best man on the planet. My heart's still torn between him and Stipe Miocic. So Stipe Miocic is not willing to. He already did it. So Cain Velasquez is trying to put the nail in the coffin, like, Werdum, you don't even belong in this weight class. Yeah,
it's being targeted for UFC 207 on December 30th in Las Vegas. So, Albert, Do you agree with Guillermo? Do you think Cain Velasquez should wait for Stipe Miocic to come back?
I love it. I think one of the things that made like Royce Jones Jr. good was he was able to avenge a lot of his losses, and that's what it's all about. I think if you can avenge those losses, for crying out loud, there's a reason why Michael Bisping is dying to face Dan Henderson, because everybody wants to erase those horrible losses on the record books, and I think Cain Velasquez truly thinks he was the better fighter. It just circumstances.
Had a bad night. Bad training camp.
And whenever you have something like that, I think those wins or those fights mean more to you than belts. And so I like the fight. I think it's smart, especially where the heavyweight division is right now, since there's lack of heavyweights. So what else can you do to prove that you deserve the title?
But with like a heavyweight, doesn't that like kill off two of your top contenders? Like, Guillermo, is this obvious? This benefits Stipe Miocic, right? Have these two guys beat up on each other, and I'll get the winner.
Not really. I mean, because Stipe Miocic already has a win over Werdum. His to legitimize his belt or his reign is to face Cain Velasquez. But in all fairness, given that Cain Velasquez has a win over Travis Brownie in his last fight, and Werdum has a win over Travis Brownie a couple weeks ago, both of them have a legitimate reason to be asking for a title shot, right? So what better way to just put them together? All right, so let's see who truly deserves the number one contender. It makes the perfect sense.
And just to show you how, like, I think we're the heavyweights are in an era where the light heavyweight division used to be, like maybe a few years ago. Junior Dos Santos, even though coming off of a loss, technically can face Stipe Miocic, and I don't think that many people will complain, just because one, Stipe probably wants that win back, and two, who else is there?
Yeah, and here's a quote from Velasquez. He said, Miocic looked good. He moves around very well. He's hard to put away. He's out there for the grind. If Stipe doesn't want to break, I want him. If he wants to fight in 2017, I'd like to fight Werdum in December. This is personal. So, I mean, we all know a motivated Cain Velasquez is a dangerous one. I mean, just a guy who's, I have a feeling like 2017 might be the year of Velasquez, Guillermo. Do you think that or no?
No, I really do, because think about it. If he's able to get past Werdum in December, and let's say the fight does take place, there is no other person more deserving than Cain Velasquez versus Stipe Miocic. If he's able to get Stipe Miocic, imagine everybody that's on the list that does not deserve a title shot, being Junior Dos Santos, being Werdum,
Overeem,
and maybe a rematch with Overeem and Stipe Miocic, which if he's able to beat him in 2017. I can see Cain Velasquez beating them again, or even I can see Cain Velasquez beating Overeem pretty easily. I mean, it seems like his chin is a little glass now. So I think realistically, Cain Velasquez will have cleared the heavyweight division without any real contenders. If he's able to get past Stipe Miocic, well, first Werdum, Stipe Miocic, and Overeem, it's all like in the record book that he's one of the best heavyweights of all time.
Randy Cain. Albert, final thoughts on this round?
Just go Cain, go.
Go Cain, go. That's it for round number 2. Stick around. We're talking about the American Gangster. He's returning, so it should be exciting news. Bellator's at it again. Do not go anywhere. Welcome back. Time for round number 3. The American Gangster, guys. He's back. Chael Sonnen has signed with Bellator MMA, multi-fight, multi-year deal to bring the most notorious man in MMA back to inside the cage. I think even before, he was more notorious before Conor McGregor was more notorious.
Yep. The original notorious.
Yeah, big news for Bellator. I like it. They're going for it, right, Guillermo? I mean, might as well. Who cares?
No, I hate it.
You hate it? What? Tell me why you hate it.
Because, look, it's the whole TNA versus WWE all over again, dude. TNA has a recipe of bringing up young, exciting fighters that could potentially be in WWE and reign exactly what we're seeing right now. So what did TNA do? They hired all these old WWE wrestlers, and what happened to TNA?
They're
down the toilet.
They're on Pop TV
right?
now.
I feel like Bellator, by going this route, instead of trying to get the young UFC guys and bringing them over to Bellator, they're grabbing the old guys, taking spots from all these young guys, and to me, it's a disaster. Tell me why Tito Ortiz versus Chael Sonnen makes sense.
Okay, well,
it has no title implications.
Yeah, that was the thing too. Like they asked him, like, "Oh, who do you want to fight?" So, well, I'm going to call out of people, but I'm first going to call out the coward Tito Ortiz. So now, like, that they're aiming for that. But Albert, I mean, Gary had a good point about signing the old UFC guys. But what about Rory Mack and Benson Henderson?
First of all, they have some studs, Guillermo. Yeah. First of all, they got the King, Rory Mack. So let's not get crazy.
The Red King.
I see. Come on, Roy McDonald is the Razor Ramon of this era. Everybody knows that. Anyways, we can
don't even bother trying to explain.
We can go more in depth on that later. But I do. What Guillermo doesn't know is you got to bring in the fans first before you can bring in the quality. And I think the Chael Sonnen, Tito Ortiz is another one that a lot of people are going to check out and watch. One, because Chael Sonnen is the man.
Albert, are you really tuning in for Chael Sonnen?
I am.
Ortiz?
I really am, because one, I don't mind seeing Tito Ortiz getting ground and pounded, bro. First of all, I'll watch that all day long. Second of all, I miss the American.
To pay-per-view.
Whoa. Let's take a couple steps back. We never talked about pay-per-view.
Because it's on Spike, right? Because it's free on Spike, right?
Of course. I'll watch some Bar Rescue and then some Bellator. And then the Guy's Choice Awards.
Honest, man, this is not a good idea to have Chael Sonnen versus Tito Ortiz.
It is a good deal because it's going to bring in the ratings. You'll see. I bet you anything. I'll tell you this: if the last night's UFC card was the same day as Chael Sonnen versus Tito Ortiz, I would watch Chael Sonnen versus Tito Ortiz over that.
But I mean, I would also give credit to Scott Coker and the Bellator matchmakers when they have these like freak show cards. They do good. They do a pretty good job of sprinkling some guys in there who they want you to watch.
And let me tell you one thing too, Guillermo. Seeing Bellator's entrances, imagine Chael Sonnen's entrance.
I didn't even think about that.
The guy that embraces, the gimmick,
the entertainment aspect of MMA. So, I mean, it's another notch for Bellator. I'm trying to think of who else they can sign now. I mean, they do have Wanderlei Silva under contract.
Yeah.
I don't know who else out there, Guillermo. I mean, maybe Overeem a little bit.
It just look all. Now
that's funny, man.
Now that the axe murderer there too.
I'm comparing this.
How?
You know how I'm comparing this?
How?
I'm a wealthy guy, and I have an option to going to the circus or to Broadway. I'm going to choose Broadway. Broadway's the UFC.
What do you want? It's like, do you want Cirque du Soleil, or do you want the random circus tent that pops up behind a church? When you're driving down the street.
Both circuses are not as legitimate as
I want Cirque du Soleil.
Not serious as Broadway is.
Man, but it's fun, man. Chael Sonnen, to see him back in this atmosphere, talking crap. Where now he's like, he does great at ESPN, does great, but he's professional. He has to be professional. I mean, I haven't been keeping up with his podcast. Has you saw his podcast? You're Welcome with Chael Sonnen, or is
one of the best podcasts.
So, talking smack, man.
And let's not forget too, he has some unfinished business with Wanderlei, and now they can actually finish it.
Yeah,
so I think that's cool too. So we got Tito Ortiz, then you got Wanderlei already there.
He has two matchups already.
And guess what? And if he wins both, shoot, give him Phil Davis. Let's make it legit. Let's make it legit.
They asked him on Twitter too, like what weight class? And he's like, a gangster weight. Like, but then Roy McDonald replied back, said, "Hey, gangster weight sounds good to me."
Yeah, I just got my mind blown on that.
So Rory Mack is like, at least it's good to see Rory Mack embracing the whole selling the fight too in Bellator.
You all think it's a great idea, but for Phil Davis, for me, this is embarrassing.
Oh yeah,
Legitimize my career. This does not prove anything that I'm the best fighter in the planet, beating an old Chael Sonnen.
If anything,
I don't see your guys as like realistic. Especially if you put yourself in the shoes of
I'll give you a good example before we leave.
The best in the world at this. And for you guys, it's a freak show.
Well, not for maybe
we're okay with that.
Maybe King Mo.
I'll tell you, King Mo's still legit out there too. But come on, Guillermo. Everybody knows they're watching TNA because of Matt Hardy. Is it good? No.
Is it different? Is it weird?
Is it entertaining?
Yes. All right, that's it for round number 3. I'll take a small break. Guillermo, you got to go. Thanks for tuning in, man. Calling us. Really appreciate it. Yeah, and have fun out there in Orlando. I'll talk to you later, man.
All right. See you guys.
All right, everybody else not going anywhere. We'll be right back at the championship rounds. Welcome back. Time to enter the championship rounds. Time for round number 4. So we touched about last week, UFC 205, how some of the card was getting put together. Now, in the week since, they've actually announced the main event. Now, this is official, but it's all announced. UFC welterweight championship bout between Tyron Woodley and Stephen Thompson will headline the card. So here, I'm going to run down the official announced matchup. So, welterweight championship bout, Donald Cerrone versus Kevin Gastelum, who was supposed to fight Robbie Lawler, but Lawler dropped out for no reason, so Kevin Gastelum's filling in. Al Kita versus Thiago Alves, Tim Kennedy versus Rashad Evans, Chris Weidman versus Yoel Romero, and then also Liz Carmouche versus Caitlin Kukokian? I don't know how to pronounce it. But this is the UFC's debut in
Nueva York.
In New York, Madison Square Garden. Obviously, what's missing here is
Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor, also Ronda Rousey, who was strong, but I think she's out until 2017. Is this pretty much done, or do you think Conor McGregor's still out there?
Well, I think I don't know why that can get done. I did read also that the Frank Yeager and Jeremy Stevens bout is rumored too, but it just sucks because like it's a good card right now. Like there's some meat on this bone.
Yeah,
but because it's the first one in New York, I think a lot of people expected that like Conor McGregor to really start it off right.
Yeah, well, I mean, the main event doesn't really speak New York, does it?
It's not sexy.
Yeah,
it's not sexy.
It's,
New York.
It's sexy, but it's not New York.
Yeah,
sexy.
It's not New York sexy. It's more like Vegas sexy. Nice and dirty.
More like that's a horrible point, but I understand exactly where you're coming from.
Yeah,
it makes me kind of think that there is, I think, Conor McGregor up their sleeve, right? I think they'll probably announced initial ticket sales, or right before ticket sales go on, they'll announce Conor McGregor.
Maybe Conor McGregor is all about the spectacle too now. So.
One, this is in New York, and two, this is very rare that this is a pay-per-view without 2 championship bouts on it. I mean, when's the last time? Usually it's been
something, an event this big and not stack it with two bouts. I mean, I think they were really banking on that Robbie Lawler Donald Cerrone match too, because I think. Even though I don't want to say that would be equivalent to a Conor McGregor,
it's a cool main event.
That would have been something that like. I think they always the best cards are the ones where you can balance out the hardcore fans with the mainstream fans, and I think that would justify both of them because there's a lot of hardcore fans that love Robbie Lawler's style, and Don Cerrone's a household name now, which I think would have kind of balanced it out. But either way, it does need Conor McGregor just to make it that. New York, the first one in New York, really big.
Yeah, I think. Well, from what I heard, Eddie Alvarez, it seems he's up for it. I think he kind of is a fighting champion. I mean, look back his thing is Bellator, so I don't think it's on his camp. Maybe it's the money thing, but I really think they are kind of holding out for this. It is a little New York heavy. Obviously, Frankie Edgar, Alain Quinta, you got Chris Weidman out there, so representing the East Coast pretty strong. But there aren't really any like born and bred East Coast champions, right? I mean, John Jones was from Jersey, but he's suspended. Chris Weidman was middleweight champion. Now he lost it.
If anything, I see more Jersey boys in here than anything.
Yeah, I don't go to Jersey guys. But Tyron Woodley versus Stephen Thompson. Tyron Woodley was calling for super fights. He's not getting it. He's getting a super tough fight, and Stephen won aboard Thompson. Do you like this fight for more Thompson or Woodley, or do you think stand up? Or
I like this matchup better for Thompson, just because we've seen if Tyron Woodley isn't the opposer standing up, we've seen him struggle. I mean, Rory McDonald was a good example, and I really do think, and we saw what Stephen Wonderboy Thompson did to Rory McDonald standing up.
Yeah.
So I don't see it going differently. I mean, there's always like I know that before Stephen Thompson's biggest weakness was the takedown defense, but ever since joining Chris Weidman's camp, I think we saw in the last couple of bouts, the guy can stay standing up. So it's going to be a hard matchup. It's going to be a good matchup. I think it's going to be a lot better than what it looks on paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, like it's a sexy fight, but a lot of people might be like, okay, but it's. I think it's going to live up to the hype.
Yeah, I think there's one more thing that the UC has, just one more card up their sleeve. But also, I want to jump out the welterweight bout between Kevin Gastelum and Don Cerrone. I think this is a tougher matchup for Cerrone than Robbie Lawler.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, really, Kevin Gastelum?" Yeah. But Kevin Gastelum's might be able to take him down and keep him there.
He's going to work him. I think we kind of knew if he fought Robbie Lawler, what kind of match that was, and there's going to be like a puncher's chance that Cerrone could win. Because we said, but Kevin Gastelum can mix it up. Guy has he's a wrestler, like I said, ground and pound.
And he has shown he does really good against strikers.
And if Cerrone could win this bout.
He's easily getting a title shot after this.
Yeah, because I think this might be better for Cerrone because you beat Robert Lawler. Yeah, it was a knockdown, drag out fight. But if he beat Kevin Gastelum, who's like a legit contender,
and just to say real quick too, I think Kevin Gastelum has more to lose because he just beat Johnny Hendricks.
Yeah,
and so right now the iron's hot.
Yeah,
and if he could beat Johnny Hendricks and then Donald Cerrone, I don't see how you not get a title shot.
Yeah, very true. So might as well. I mean, looking up that championship bout. So that's it for round number 4. We got one more round coming up. I want to talk about the main event debut of Cris Cyborg Justino. So it should be interesting. Welcome back. Time for the 5th and final round. Cris Cyborg Justino will main event her first UFC bout this Saturday at UFC Fight Night in Brazil. She's going to fight Lena Landsberg, who's making her UFC debut. So this is UFC. Obviously, continues their event every weekend until the end of the year. It's in Brazil. She's a famous star, but yet they still refuse to give her own division.
Yeah.
If not, this is a catch weight at 140. They recognize her star power. That's why she's main eventing. But yet, we'll just rent you out for this event, and we'll go from there. Do you think this will eventually lead to a 145 division, or just say, hey, we'll call you when we need you type of thing?
No, I really do think that's what they're going to lean towards, too. I think they're going to give her, like, 2 fights, and as long as they're spectacular, like, I mean, if she does another...
This is her second fight already.
But no, I mean, like, as main event.
Oh, okay.
I think if she, or co-main event, if she does, like, a vicious win here, and then maybe one more, I don't see how they do not do a featherweight division, because that was the whole thing with the whole women's division. Was like, okay, there's Ronda Rousey, but we need to be excited enough to people just to check out and see her, and it almost feels that way too. And on top of that too, this is a pretty big matchup for the women's division. I mean, it's not like they just gave Cyborg some chick that just gonna go in there and get a paycheck. It should be. On paper, it should be a legit match, but we all know how a Cris Cyborg match ends up. But with that said, though, I really do think they're leaning towards making that 145-pound division.
Not just for her, but there are actually other fighters out there who want to compete at 145. And, like, for the lack of diversity in the UFC, it's 135 and then, 115?
115, which is a big gap.
Yeah, so if you want to fight in the UFC, those are your two options. So, I mean, I'm sure there's some women at 135 who are like, you know what, let me go up to 145. Or even there's some, I think there's some on the outside who are legit 145ers who could come in the UFC and may not be on the same level as Cyborg, but still put on some entertainment matchups, especially if they have events every week. I mean, how many random lightweight bouts can we have in the UFC? Like, so every card has like 5 lightweights on it, but none of these guys really are needle movers, right?
Exactly. And then just to like blow your mind, just about Cris Cyborg is only 31.
Oh, wow.
So so she can have like at least 6 more years. So there should be a big panic of like, oh well, okay, if we start this division, who's if she's a staple, can she continue? She's only 31.
Yeah.
So I don't see why for 6 years you can't have Cris Cyborg. Even if there's not another champion, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, at least you have Cris Cyborg like in the back of your hand or under your sleeve when it comes to this division that you can always throw out there.
If they're complaining in the UFC about the lack of depth and stars in this division, that's on you. It's your job as an organization to promote
go out there and
promote these stars. There's always stars in the making in every division. It's up to you not just to focus on the 1, 2 in every division, not the Conor McGregors or the Ronda Rouseys. There's stars out there. It's up to you to highlight them, and not just guys that you like. Dana White, I like Sage Northcutt, so we're gonna push him. There's actually stars everywhere. You just got to go out and find them. But interesting to see. I'm rooting for Cyborg. I know people don't have her fans, but the more another division in the UFC, hoping for, just because they said there's so many random men's lightweight bouts out there, it doesn't really mean anything. So let's go down to the rest of the card here. I'm actually kind of excited for this card. Renan Barão's on it. Roy Nelson versus Bigfoot Silva. Your boy Eric Silva's on the way, but on the prelim cards. But Renan Barão is continuing his trek in the featherweight division against Felipe Nover.
Best known for his Ultimate Fighter skit.
Yeah. I
think Dana White went on record saying like, oh, this could be like the next GSP.
Yeah.
Or something like that when he was going through the Ultimate Fighter. And then he has fought previously twice in UFC, both won one, lost one.
Yeah.
So it should be a good. I like the matchup just because Renan Barão seems to be
coming off a loss to Jeremy Stephens.
Yeah, but he seems to be stubborn and he says he's going to stay at this featherweight division. So if you get another disappointing loss like he did before, I think he's going to have to do that tough weight cut.
Again, just to try and keep things different?
If he loses, I don't see how he can stay in the featherweight division.
I also want to jump down to one of the fights that I'm amazed when I look at it. How the heck does Bigfoot Silva still have a job in the UFC?
That's because he's a heavyweight, and that's
and he's Brazilian.
And heavyweight and Brazilian. It's a perfect combo right now.
He's gonna face Mark Hunt, but he's coming off 2 knockout losses to Mark Hunt and Stefan Struve.
Well, just if you want to expand it just a little bit more, out of the last 5 fights, he's only won 1.
Oh my god!
So I really do think if he gets another vicious knockout if he loses by knockout by Roy Nelson, that guy's done.
And it's coming off of a PED allegation too, right? Where he's starting to serve suspension after the draw to Mark Hunt.
Yep.
So this guy, I'm still amazed he has a job, but yet Roy Nelson could be the man to say, you know what? Not here. You're going back to the World Series of Fighting, or you're going back to Bellator and Scott Coker. Roy Nelson, this guy's been a staple of the UFC division for almost 8 years now.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't think Roy Nelson was going to stick around that long.
Neither did I.
But just to let you know too, if you go 5 fights with Roy Nelson, he's only won 1. So, but the only difference is Roy Nelson has a lot of decision losses and not that many KO losses. Which Silva's all losses have been a nasty knockout. So. I think it's a loser goes a Bellator match.
Yeah, so it's this UFC Fight Night in Cyborg versus Landsberg in Brazil will take place the 24th. I think on Fox Sports. It's not a Fight Pass one. I don't know.
Luckily, this one's gonna be on Fox Sports 1.
So yeah, keep an eye out for that. We'll have the reaction to all that stuff next week. Until then, make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FiveRoundMMA. It's FIVE. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, and Podomatic. And please visit FiveRoundMMA.com. And I want to thank you. Big thank you for all of our sponsors. Without them, the show would not be possible. To Rocking Green eco-friendly cleaning products, the 5 Rounds clothing line, and of course Redemption Martial Arts, Rise Up Against Bullion. And a big shout out to our good friends at FightBookMMA.com. Check out this podcast and other great podcasts at FightBookMMA.com. Albert, what do you got?
Yeah, thanks for listening.
All right, take it easy.
You are now listening to FRMMA Radio.